What's going on, guys? Angel here, aka What the Shutter.
And Chelsea, owner of Come Through Curls. And this is
A
a New
New
York
York
love
love
story.
story.
Angel and I wanted to create this podcast to talk about our relationship and talk about other relationships in different situations.
Big facts.
And today we have 5 different topics that we're going to be talking about.
5 different topics. Don't miss it, all right? 5 different topics. You better tune in. Bring your notebook.
Take some notes.
Yeah. You feel me? All right, so the first topic is communication in relationships. I feel like it's very important to communicate with your other half with everything, from how you feel, from certain things that are happening in the day, just making sure that you communicate your feelings to your other person, because sometimes people have a tendency of keeping their feelings and all of their emotions or whatever to themselves, and you can't really have a healthy relationship with your other half or whoever you're dealing with, because you're not being as open. And I just feel like you should give that to the other person and to yourself to just communicate and express how you feel. Right, babe?
Very true. I believe communication is very important.
Very.
Communication is clarity. It allows you to understand each other and be on the same page.
Facts.
So if you're able to communicate with them and let them know how you're feeling, things that may have happened, like triggers and different things like that, you guys can build a deeper connection because now you understand each other better.
That is true. Communication in relationships is one of the most important things you need.
It's a building block for your foundation.
Yes.
And the second topic is balancing individual time and couple time. And to be honest, our situation, I'm even going to add in managing individual time, couple time, and family time. Now that we're a unit, we need to make sure that we have time where we can spend time with all of us together, babies included, and then we need time for just me and Angel. And then we also need time to have for ourselves.
Facts.
I feel like as creatives, we need to make sure that we can always go back to source and go back to self and cater to the self in order to come back and be with everybody and share with everybody. We gotta fill our cups first.
Big facts. I'm very big on individual time. Maybe it's the Gemini in me, but I am very big on that. Not only for me, but for my babies and for Chelsea. I feel like it's important for all of us. It's important for me and Chelsea to have quality time without the kids. It's important for all of us to have quality time with each other. Just because it's like, especially with my kids, I want them to build character and not try to feel like they need another person to do certain things or to feel safer, whatever the case may be. But I feel like everybody should have their alone time because it's important for your mental health and for the things that you like, and not get influenced by other people telling you that you should do this and do that. But it's also important to dive in with your village too, because they're always going to bring you back to who you really are, right, babe?
Right.
All right, so the third topic is managing conflict and disagreement.
You've grown a lot in this
I
area.
have grown a lot, but I think I still get a little hot.
We all do. We gotta give ourselves grace. We're human.
But sometimes it's better to take a L. What is it? Agree to disagree, right?
Yeah.
Majority of the time it could be that.
No,
I
I
just
feel
feel
that.
like sometimes as people, we're selfish and our ego gets the best of us and our emotions get the best of us. And not saying that it's bad to be selfish and believe in what you want to believe in, but it should get to a level of disrespect or anything like that when it comes to disagreeing and managing conflict. I feel like how we were saying about communication skills, that comes is a full circle moment. It comes right back, just talking about it and making sure that at the end of the day we're not feeling some type of way, because like Chelsea always say, feelings and what else?
Feelings are fleeting.
Yes.
You're not always going to feel like that forever.
Right.
So I also agree with you. I think that when it comes to conflict and conflict resolution, communication is very important. And it's like what I was meaning when I say that you've grown a lot is that before you were having trouble communicating to me, that you were angry. And sometimes you would say things that you may not have necessarily meant, but you wanted to say it just because it felt good or it made you feel like it was hurting my feelings.
Right.
So I think that as you grow in a relationship and you learn what people's triggers are, also just understanding that people may be going through something at that particular moment is kind of going back to what you said, that you don't have to win every battle.
Nah, you don't.
Sometimes you got to just be like, you know what?
I'm gonna take this L, and it doesn't. And
It's
I'm not
bigger
saying,
than me.
and right, but it's not an L as in like a loss, but more of like a lesson. Like, all right, cool. Sometimes it's better not to react. Sometimes it's better to just sit down and consume or digest what they told you and just sit on it.
Conflict resolution really helped me learn how to breathe.
Facts.
And the next topic is maintaining intimacy and romance. I think that in our relationship, we do a really good job at doing that. And I think it's important to do that in your relationships also, just because you want to make sure that you keep the fire alive, you keep the spark going. Like, it's always good to remember in your situations, like what got you guys together, what
Right.
brought you guys to that shared energy.
I mean, I try to be as romantic as much as I can. Going through your day-to-day life, sometimes you don't focus on like being romantic and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm making my business to try to do it every weekend.
I think it's
You
the
know?
little things too. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be material, like going out on dates or going
Yeah.
out to eat and treating, painting the town red.
Right.
It
I
doesn't
just
have to be
feel
that, but I can say like romance or intimacy can be like in those moments when we're close. When I
yeah.
just be staring at you and stuff when you come
Vibing
out the shower.
together. But not even at home. It's just like, and this is for everybody, it's just like find somebody that you could truly, truly be yourself with. Like,
Yes.
you could be vulnerable and they won't judge you. You could be open and outspoken and they could feel your passion instead of aggression. Because a lot of people think I'm aggressive, but I just speak passionately.
Yeah,
And
you have
Chelsea,
resting bitches.
yeah, but it's for the people who know, no. But for
Word.
the people that don't,
Yeah.
they take me more as an aggressor than a soft person. I'm not saying I'm soft, but I'm just saying I could, I'm a cool dude. Like I'm chill. I like to vibe a lot. I
I
don't
think
like
you're really sweet. And I think that that's also part of it too, where it's just like remember that even during conflict and conflict resolution, that, you're still a good person
nah
and you
facts.
still have a really big heart, even with all the things that you be doing sometimes. But
But yeah,
you try to make time and you try to like remember those things and also acknowledge those things with the other person as well. So it'll be like little things like, oh, I'm happy that you did this, or I see you working,
facts.
like you doing your thing,
Yo,
everything's
and it's so
good.
crazy because when I started dating Chelsea, I faithfully went to go pick her up every day at her job and travel with her from her job to her house and then from there to my house.
It felt like a long distance relationship. I was in the Bronx and you were in Queens.
Yeah, I was in South Jamaica, Queens. I used to take the trip from working from Brooklyn, going all the way to the Upper West Side, to the upper was it the Upper West Side? Yeah, to the Upper West Side, picking her up, to then taking her all the way to Fordham University, to then going back on the train and taking that shit all the way to goddamn Suffern Boulevard, to then go all the
Craziness.
way to South Jamaica.
A madman.
But that was my way of showing her that I was dedicated.
Invested.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And then I think also just like while we were on our long train rides, we would talk about photography and different
we
things like
talked about
that.
everything. I feel like that was our true bonding time. There
That's
was a
part of our
couple,
intimacy time is
yeah,
chatting.
just chatting about everything. And I just feel like I fell in love with the vibe with you before I fell in love with anything else. I felt like your personality was just like, damn, like I really like coño.
I
Esta,
could talk to you.
esta
I feel
chamaquita, yeah,
comfortable.
I was like, esta tipa está dando lengua. Yeah. But I'm like, yo, this is fire, And it was more than just lust and all of that stuff. I felt like you were my friend before you even became my wife. You feel me? But yeah, romance and intimacy. All right, so the last topic is parenting and co-parenting. And that's a big topic for me
Yeah, how do
because
you feel about this?
everything, you have your pros and your cons. I felt like just co-parent, like just going into not having nobody to take care of, or all the only person I had to take care of was myself. Then to go from the transition to taking in two other kids that weren't mine, and creating a home and a place for them to be safe and to learn and to understand life the way life is, you're supposed to understand life. And guide them in the right way. I just feel like since as a kid, I never really had a guidance like that, and I had to find it somewhere in the streets or, wherever I felt like I fit in. And it taught me a lot. I feel like it taught a lot of people, especially us millennials. We were raised by people that they didn't have everything together, and we also got to give them grace because they did whatever they could with what they had. But I want to do better in a sense of just make sure that the things that I wanted for myself from my parents to give it to my kids, and also give them a option of like, hey, there is an option. Like, what would you like? Or what this, and the other? Instead of this is how you're supposed to be. Like, yeah, sometimes this is how it's supposed to be, and you can't ask no questions. But sometimes there's options. And I feel like for us, we never got that option. You
Right.
feel me? So it's beautiful to break that cycle and start something new with our kids. Co-parenting was amazing. It was hard for me at first because I was trying to understand two different personalities that didn't meet to my expectations.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know how to understand or to have grace or empathy for them acting the way they do. You know? I just feel like as parent, I feel like I get how my parents felt too. Like they wanted us to grow up so fast
Yeah.
that everything was a problem.
Right.
You know, and when it comes to the girls, at first that's how I felt. I'm like, why you don't understand this? Like it's so just, and I had to sit to myself, and you also told me like, remember, they're still kids
You're right.
and they're learning, they're going through life and they're learning as they go. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. And I had to back off and be like, really understand, like, hey, I can't really expect them to be at the level that I think that they are or they should be. So that was amazing for me to see that and to slow down and to understand. And now that they have developed even more, they still do certain things, but they're very aware for majority of the things. And that's beautiful to see that growth. And then to having our own kid, that was amazing too. And
Yeah.
because I kept telling you I didn't want no kids.
Right.
So
For me, coming into the relationship, I was already a single mom. I have twin girls. And it was different for you because you never experienced having kids at that age
Right.
around you for like that long, or
Mm-hmm.
being around kids for at all,
Right.
because you were mostly around
I
adults.
mean, I was around kids, but
But not really.
not
Like
really,
you
no.
wasn't like interacting with them on a day-to-day basis.
No.
So to go from not having children around to having children around and then twins at that, it's like thing one and thing two, jumping all over the place.
Holy moly.
I understood that it was gonna be a lot, but I kind of like I had to learn that for myself. Kids are going to be kids. I'm gonna get frustrated sometimes because they're not gonna totally understand
Right.
what it is that I want them to do or what they should be doing at a particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's good to just like take a step back and be like, you know what? They're 5 years old.
Yup.
I need to chill. I need to allow myself to
Right.
let go
You
and let loose a
literally
little
gotta
bit.
bring yourself back. Like
Yes.
sometimes kids will kids will frustrate you. And
Right.
I feel like you taught me that to like don't let them frustrate you. They're
Right.
just 5-year-olds.
They're little. They're still learning. Now with pre, it's different. You had a lot of firsts. Learned a
Yeah, no, I
lot
learned
because
a lot with pre.
it's one
It
thing to go
was
from children that were around 4 or 5 years old to having a newborn.
yeah, that was different. That
We
was
had a lot of
different.
different
That
experiences.
was different.
Let us know if you'd like to know more. But it's different being a dad for a new baby and then
Right.
watching that baby grow. And I think that it's really fun to kind of see how that dynamic also looks with the girls as well. And just seeing how everybody meshes together now that we're a blended family.
Facts. It's definitely amazing having all three of these girls. It's been a blessing.
Absolutely.
I learn from them as much as they learn from me. I feel like there's always room for improvement from both sides. As adults too, we shouldn't always think that we know everything
No.
because that was our parents' issues and their parents' issues that they felt like they know everything, so they didn't let their kids question anything.
Or having balance, where it's like it wasn't just one person who was the dominant one or the feminine one or the submissive one.
Right.
Like we learned how to take turns in both of those situations where it's like our children respect us and they know not to push the envelope
Yep.
with us, but it's not a situation where they fear us. Like they're not afraid of us. They're open, and we definitely have communication with our babies too,
Right.
because that's important. But they know like, okay, we gotta act right. We gotta. All I gotta do is look, and
Right.
now they chilling.
You know, it's crazy to be 20, to be 27 with 3 kids. To people, it's just it seems like a big responsibility. But when you have somebody there that already know the ropes and can help you through that journey, and can help you to get to a better place with anything in general, from kids to yourself, it's just like I feel like Chelsea needed me as much as I needed her.
Yeah.
It's been lit.
Yeah.
It's been lit. We've been together for almost we're about to make 4
We make
years.
4 years in October.
Yep. And it's been fucking lit. And that's why we trying to start this fucking podcast, because I feel like we're so fucking dope. And
Yeah,
I
and we had an
invest.
interesting way of
Right,
meeting too.
right. And I feel like that could be for another video,
Mm-hmm.
but we're fucking lit people.